गुड इवनिंग एंड वेलकम टू गनर शॉट। गनर शॉट में आप सबका स्वागत है। Today we're going to discuss about the geopolitical window of opportunity which is staring at India's face. And we feel it's the time for India to leverage its growth. And to discuss this topic with me is General Dushyant Singh. So let me first welcome him. General Dushyant, good evening and welcome to Gunner Shot. We are meeting after a very long time.
Thank you, sir, and it's a pleasure always to come on the channel. I am slightly
Yeah.
busy, so therefore the delay is on my part, not on your part, sir.
No, no, it's not at all because it's a matter of pride that you're doing such a great job after having taken over as Director General of Clause, and you're getting new strategic and operational thought into the Indian Army, uh, and in a larger sense, you're projecting the image of the Indian Army, and so I think that's very well taken. I will put it this way: the loss of gunner shot has been the nation's gain, which is fantastic, right? And I wish you the very best. And all from gunner shot, I'm sure everyone who's viewing this will stand behind you. And those who are watching this from abroad, and a lot of people watch it from abroad these days, especially from the neighboring countries,
Yes, sir.
now, must understand that you're going to be spoken to by one of the director generals of one of the premium think tanks of the Indian Army or the Indian Armed Forces. It is the main think tank of the Indian Army, all right. Right. Uh, so with this, let's start the thing. Where did you get this thing of, like people keep saying India is going through a tough patch and a tough neighborhood, and we have to walk, you know, a balance or line of thought and all that. You say we are having a window of opportunity. So first,
Yes,
let's define that because that's an interesting proposition you have.
yes. I was thinking over the various statements which various security experts have been making in the past few months, especially since the Maldives incident. And thereafter, there was suddenly a situation in Sri Lanka. We're not talking of Pakistan and China because that's a given, and we'll waste our time talking about Pakistan and China. That everybody knows it's a situation which has to be dealt separately. But then we are talking of things like Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh, Myanmar. Wherever you take your eyes around our neighborhood, it looks as though things are in chaos, things are boiling hot, and we are somehow not in control. And most of the experts are saying that, look, I don't think India is taking the right course of action in such turbulent times. But in my opinion, certain actions which India has taken are the hallmark of a nation which has matured over a period of 75 odd years, which is something which we must appreciate. And the first one in this, I would say, is the Maldives experience. Now, if we watch the way we handle the Maldives situation, I think that speaks of the maturity of our foreign policy. It also speaks of the way we are going about handling this difficult situation. So to say that everything is bad, I think I'll go back to the Chinese saying which says "Wai Chi." Wai Chi means that there is no word in Chinese separately for danger or opportunity. They combine both these words and refer to it as Wai Chi. Wai Chi means a danger come opportunity. So in danger lies the opportunity. And I think we have we beautifully leveraged Sri Lanka situation, wherein this every candidate in Sri Lanka, if you see, has been telling that we cannot do without India. Similar is the case with Maldives, which has turned around. Look at the way we have deftly, quietly handled Afghanistan. It is Pakistan which is out of the window. It is Iran which is struggling to survive in this particular region. But it is India which is working through Iran, working through Afghanistan, and somehow achieving its national interests, I think, very, very beautifully, to the extent that even the so-called the big part of our global arena are now forced to appreciate that what India is doing is, I think, something which is, which in my opinion is worth emulating by various countries which are currently not embroiled in some kind of a international conflict. So, having said that, I would also like to add here that why I'm saying this as a opportunity is because there are situations which are developing around us, both at the global level and at the regional level, which give us those opportunities. For example, it was always said about India that India's foreign policy is a classic case of paradox. The paradox is that globally, oh, we have achieved grand stature, our country's voice is being heard, and the paradox was that regionally we are going nowhere, whether it is Southeast Asia, whether it is our extended neighborhood of Middle East, etc. But over a period of time, to backdoor diplomacy, backdoor talks, I think we are achieving something which everybody should be proud of. All our citizens should be proud of. So, with that, I have a brief presentation lined up, which will actually highlight as to why I'm calling this as a window of opportunity. So, can I just, sir, have the
Yeah.
presentation on?
So before I'd like to underscore what you have said. I mean, the most important thing you have said is in every danger there is an opportunity, and in every kind of chaos, I'll add to it. In every kind of chaotic situation, there comes an opportunity, and in every kind of a setback, there lies an opportunity, and it is up to us to use that opportunity. And I think you've given three great examples: Maldives, Afghanistan, and Sri Lanka,
Sri Lanka.
where we have converted the adverse situation into a situation of advantage. Right? Adversity to advantage is what this window of opportunity gives you. And I think this is staring at our face in the rest of the neighborhood also. We'll go through the presentation and then discuss. I'm
Absolutely.
sorry I've interrupted in your thing because I just
No,
thought I
no,
would
no. No,
underscore what you're saying. And the
absolutely.
major word which I would like to use is strategic opportunity. We need to
Absolutely.
have strategic patience to exploit a strategic opportunity.
Absolutely. So, to that, I would also add another adjective. Strategic patience alone doesn't give you that. Sensing that right time to do that, I think
Yeah, timing.
that is the hallmark of a strategic culture. I think which India is slowly now getting to know about it and getting to act upon it. So that sensing of the right time when we should interfere. Like for example, people have been talking. I mean, and I'm speaking from my heart that people have been talking. Do this, do that. Yesterday I was on a YouTube channel and I was trolled like hell on Bangladesh issue, and I kept on saying that look, it is not the time for us to take any reactionary action. Time for us is to wait, watch, and see that opportunity, and then get Bangladesh to come eat from your hand. I think that is what is the finish of diplomacy, and I think we're following in the right path. And you will see this. You will see this, and I keep saying that interim government of Bangladesh is actually an unauthorized government, because as per the constitution, Bangladesh interim government provision was abrogated. So this interim government job is only one, and that is to carry out quick electoral reforms and conduct elections. If they fail to do so in the next 2 to 3 months, there will come the opportunity for India, because this particular government will also get trapped into the same rigmarole of corruption, rigmarole of Bangladesh becoming a nation of a party. It is said that Bangladesh has either been a Awami Desh or a BNP Desh or a military Desh. That's the way I look at it. Now, if you reflect upon it, for the last since 1971, Bangladesh has actually been this. So if Awami comes, it's Awami Desh. So if BNP comes, it is BNP Desh. The interim government, if it falls into the same trap, it will become Yunus Desh. And there lies the opportunity for India to set right this entire thing about Bangladesh. Bangladesh has to realize that it is Bangladesh first and Party Desh later. If we play this
Yeah,
narrative, even the people of Bangladesh will realize their folly of what they are doing. I
yeah,
will
yeah.
quote an example. I'll quote you an example, sir. The so-called current regime fell because of the Chhatra movement or
Islamic Charter
student
Tribunal.
yeah, and student protest in general. Let me put it this way. But do you know who gave the amplification for the student protest? There were 50 guys stationed all over the globe, driven from America, who were amplifying whatever was happening on the ground. And do you know what they are saying about 3 days back? These 50 guys, they are saying we are watching Yunus government also. Should they do something which is not as per the norms, they will also be subjected to the same scrutiny. What I'm trying to say is, sir, that the situation today, we need to have a close watch and then decide as to what action we need to take. Let the chaos settle down. Let the
Yeah,
let
yeah,
this.
yeah.
Yeah. So coming to my next slide, what I was saying is India was considered. I've already spoken about it, but look at the geopolitical situations. Europe is in decline under the shadow of war. Isn't there an opportunity for India there?
Completely.
Russia
Completely.
under Russia under stress due to its marginalization and ongoing 2.5-year-old war, resulting in huge economic losses. Whatever we may say, Russia is facing the brunt, sir. They are
Yes.
producing they are producing ammunition which is 5 times more than the Ukrainian ammunition which is being supplied to them through the international forums, international sources or aids. Similarly, their weapon system, they are forced to actually take Fatah missiles from Iran.
Yes.
That is the situation of I would say it's not a superpower, but it's definitely a military superpower if you look at it
Yeah, and
today.
I'd like to add that we've already taken advantage of this situation
Absolutely, sir.
through oil security and energy security has already been met.
Absolutely, sir. And at what cost? At rupees.
Yes.
At rupees, which Russians are now saying, what do we do with the rupee? I think they're coming up
Yeah,
with
they
an
can do
option.
what they want.
Yeah, I think they're coming up with an option of gold trade. Let's see how that
Uh,
pans out.
where-
Uh, Forced to be an uncomfortable partner. I mean, Russia is today. We may say that the friendship between Russia and China has been great. It's like the friendship not seen before. But traditionally, sir, Russia has always been apprehensive of China. People have put certain things under the carpet. If you remember last year, Vladivostok, there was a commotion which
yeah.
was created by the Chinese. It is the Russian majburi which led them to remain quiet, because then they will lose one friend which is there with them. So what I'm saying is, Russia is also under pressure. That gives us tremendous opportunities. We are already exploiting that. I won't use the word exploiting. We are already leveraging that opportunity, and more to come.
Yeah.
More to come. There'll be a little bit of negotiation. There'll be a little bit of
Yeah,
ifs
that's
and
okay.
buts. That's fine. In fact, I was listening to one of the channels, P Gurus, where you also had gone and spoken about. They were saying that China is being made to turn around because of this particular Russian leverage which we have, and the Chinese are possibly going to
Yeah,
pull back. They're going to pull back.
yeah, that's what I
Let
said. That's what I said. I only said this.
yes. So let's see how all this pans out, and that is where we say that, deftness in foreign policy is what we are looking at. Look at the China itself. China is willing to do all this because we waited for the right opportunity. It's in an economic mess. It has got internal factions in the PLA. It's got an aging population, which is chocolate soldiers all around. Z is losing control. We don't know whether Z is actually in control or not.
Or
So,
not? Yeah, we discussed that.
yeah, given all this fabric of China, do you think it can really pull its weight as far as negotiations go, whether it is in BRICS, whether it is in SCO, whether it is in any of these international forums where India and China sit together? I think India is now gaining. You yourself said, about the S. Jayasankar article. They had to bring it
Yeah,
down. They had to bring it down. Why they had to bring it down? That I think intelligent people can guess about it. Why they had to bring it down? Earlier, it used to be India which used to be quiet about not taking names or not doing things. I think we are now getting into that typical space of breakthrough point, or breakthrough point of going beyond our so-called past policies of playing safe.
1 minute,
Then
Dushyant. If you don't,
yes,
Dushyant, 1 minute.
yeah,
Look, those who are viewing, I would like to put across to you. You might not like our ideas. You might not like have different views, but
yeah,
don't be abusive.
yes,
I just banned an off chap who's been abusive. Okay, you don't like my ideas, say so. But if you are going to be abusive about anyone, I'll just kick you out of this channel, and you keep screaming where you want. Okay, and you and your friends don't have to. And but then please understand. Then I'll take you to the cleaners. I'll take
absolutely.
you and your lot to the cleaners.
I mean, sir, look at it. In this entire mess, people are saying that the only country where they feel safe to stay is in India. There are
India.
many who are saying that, possibly India is the safest country to be in today. Yes, we have our problems, we have our internal factionalism, we have our internal fault lines. Those are for us to sort it out. If we have some elements which are uh, going against the against a national security, that is for us to resolve. We should not allow that to come in the way of our international and foreign policy. Then coming on to, so, the US, what is happening in the US, sir? Economic recession is knocking at their doors. Second, they are unable to protect a presidential candidate. Twice he has been attacked in this particular elections. Their schools are under attack through radicals, whether you call them gunmen, unknown, whichever name you want to call them. With their malls are being are under attack, and yet country 200 odd years old, with a democratic credentials, where they say that they are one of the leading democracies of the world, most mature democracies of the world, are unable to come to a conclusion on whether carrying gun is a freedom, fundamental freedom or not. If we play our narratives well, sir, we will realize India is far ahead of these so-called self-acclaimed uh, democratic countries who think no end of themselves. Take out indexes which are motivated through ulterior motives. Let's take out our index,
Yeah.
sir. Let's take out our index. I think they will stand nowhere as compared to us. I'm not trying to
No,
say
I
we
have
don't have.
not.
I'm
No,
not
no,
trying to
no.
say.
I have no doubt in what you're saying. I've if in my own analysis, I've been saying India is unstoppable because you don't have opposition of value today,
Correct.
really. And even a country like China, which is supposed to be, whatever it is supposed to be, is
Correct.
now getting after you to normalize relations. कि भाई कर लो. फ्लाइट शुरू करो, इन्वेस्टमेंट करने दो, ये सब वो
Okay.
क्यों कर रहा है? समवन शुड सिट एंड थिंक.
Yeah. Then, sir,
या.
look at the debt which America is having today. Its
ओके, सॉरी,
GDP
ठीक
and
है.
its GDP and debt are similar.
या.
The amount of GDP is also amount of debt. Just because you can publish the green book, you can get along. Should the should the BRICS and the other forums read China in bracket, start trading in gold, what will happen to the green buck? That is the kind of pressure which US is facing. So not everything is but dictatable by US. I think if we are playing our cards well, we should be able to exploit or leverage this kind of a situation, which is chip war. And India has at the right time interjected and see, I mean, trying to leverage this thing that we will become the chip hub of the world. We already have 4 factories going. There are efforts on to get 9 more such concerns. Singapore has been one of the leading chip manufacturers. I think we've done some MOUs and deals with them. Let's see how that fructifies. I'm sure. I'm sure the way we are moving, I think we should be able to slowly leverage that, sir. If we go to the next one, sir, coming to the regional situation where people are talking that we are really bad. Look at it, sir. It is bad. But is there an opportunity? Answer is yes. How? Through strategic patience and looking for that right moment when you interject with a step which is seen to be a very, very justified step, right? I always say that era has now come for not ideal strategists, but smart strategists. I think we have to change our strategic culture to smart strategic culture. The era of being on the high table always is not going to give us much of a leverage as far as this particular thing is concerned. Then Nepal, Bangladesh, Bhutan may be getting closer to China. That's the way people are saying that these countries are getting too close to China, therefore getting away from us. Siliguri corridor is threatened. Can't we see the other way around also, sir? Smart strategy. Can't we also cut off certain people? We don't project, we don't project openly, but समझदार को इशारा काफी है. If people in, I think you only said in one of your programs that if BD thinks that they can do this, then they are in for a shock.
या. आई
I
नो
keep
डाउट अबाउट इट.
I keep saying, sir, Bangladesh is in the glove,
ऑफ
and
इंडिया.
if you close this glove, what will happen?
दैट्स
I've
इट.
done a study on Bangladesh way back in 2008. Sir. It was a technological study, not a strategic or a foreign policy study, purely on technology, on global warming. Sir, another 10 years down the line, I think it was 2007, I had predicted 2040. Another 10, 15 years down the line, sir, Bangladesh will be reduced to one third of its mass. So unless they cooperate, unless the people of Bangladesh realize that their succor lies in having a healthy relations with India, they are going to have a tough time in the future. And the time will come, sir. Similarly, the case with Nepal, however hard you may try, you'll have to go 5,300 kilometers to go to Shanghai to via Beijing to reach the coast. It's India which has the Kolkata or the Haldia port or the port or the Odisha port. Pakistan, we have forced Pakistan to look inwards. Okay, ठीक है, there are some
या.
incidents taking place. in Jammu and Kashmir, etc., etc. But believe you me, our security forces can control these guys. In fact, what control? They can eliminate these people. So public should not have any kind of doubt in their mind that the Indian security forces cannot meet the challenge which Pakistan is trying to throw at us. It's like, जब वो जब मछली मर रही होती है ना, तो फड़फड़ाती ज्यादा है. So that is probably the case, and in a neighborhood which is so damn sensitive as far as India is concerned, these incidents will occur. The 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 proof of the pudding lies in correctly analyzing these situations and being on top of it. I agree, there are some I would say uh, some kind of deficiency in our proactive stance, etc. We need to actually graduate to a more of an offensive uh, action as far as security situation is concerned, where it is my personal opinion, we are almost always reactive. If the Chinese name some locations of India as in Chinese, then we do the reverse. If there is a cartographic challenge which is thrown to India, we also do a cartographic. I personally feel, why can't we do the other way around? And exactly with this intention, we have come out with a paper called in Clause, jointly written by General Chaturvedi and myself, on Indo-Tibet uh, time to reset. And we're not talking of Dalai Lama. We are not talking of the routine narratives which are going on in there. We are talking of claims of India over Tibet in terms of not sovereign claims, not territorial claims, but the linkages,
Cultural.
the relationships, the hand in glove kind of a. Uh, no, most of the people would not know that there were two types of Buddhism which were flourishing in Tibet. One was the Chinese Tibet Buddhism, and the other one was Indian Buddhism. There was a debate which happened in the 8th century, and in which the Indian monk won the competition, and since then Tibet follows the Indian Buddhism traditions. Such like things we have to dig out and put it on the face of the Chinese. Like, look, partner, you are not the only one who is digging history. You're not the only one who is creating 9 dash lines or 11 dash lines. Every other country is doing that. We see a lot of such actions taking place. Then, sir, looking at China, we were saying our neighborhood is bad, but Uncle Sam is also quite interested in our region. No? So Uncle Sam has started putting pressure in Bangladesh. He started putting pressure in Myanmar. He started putting pressure in Pakistan. So ठीक है ना? It's a good thing. दो
Yeah.
दो बिल दो बिल्लियों की लड़ाई में जो बंदर खड़ा रहता है ना बगल में, he is the actual winner.
वो कहा जाता है विनर.
We will be the actual winners. So, but only thing is we must see कि कब किसको थोड़ा सा पूंछ दबानी है, किस बिल्ली की पूंछ को थोड़ा सा खींचना है. And that is where I say that we need to have a smart strategic culture now. It's no more high idealism, etc. Those are there, right? But I think the smart strategic culture is what is important. China is gaining influence through in some of our friendly countries like Vietnam, etc. But I think we are also gaining in this region through approaching Philippines and Indonesia. We also have other countries in the Southeast Asian region, which we are trying to gradually get them to our side. Malaysia, which was traditionally always considered as some kind of a pro pro other camp, is
China.
also slowly, yeah, is also slowly turning around to realizing the power of India. And all this comes from, sir, our dedicated effort in economic growth, our military heft, which is slowly increasing. Of course, it is nowhere compared to what the big players are, but definitely we are no mean masters as well as far as defense is concerned. We can hold our own. That much is there. We're not saying that we are top of the world. No, definitely not. We have a lot of way to go, and it is this particular reason that we must buy time. And it is here that I would like to quote both Sun Tzu and Kautilya, who said, if you feel that you are not in a position as of now to tackle a particular situation, do some diplomacy to ensure that you buy time, and then wait for that opportune time to get back. So I think Sun Tzu and Kautilya both were of a similar time frame, and both have almost reflected similar strategies. Of course, Kautilya was much more rounded in the sense he talked about entire statecraft, whereas Sun Tzu only spoke about warfare. Afghanistan is out of the orbit. I have already said Iran remains a friend or a neutral guy. Uh, Even in global south, India seems to be maintaining its position. We are not, I mean, the Chinese are also trying to woo the global south, but I feel that India is also not doing badly as far as getting the global south to its side. There will be an odd country going up and down, get from this camp to that camp. But overall, I think our say is holding good. There are very positive, uh, uh, I would say, indications coming out of the UN, where there is some amount of now some amount of consensus building as far as Germany and India is concerned as a permanent member of the UN Security Council. I think slowly we should see that also happening, and that can only happen in case if we improve our stature, which we are doing. And what should India do in that case? I feel slow ingress into regional geopolitics through economic leverage. If today there is one strength which India has, as far as our neighbors are concerned,
It's economy.
why don't we play up the narrative that India is the only country which earmarks a budget for our neighbors? It clearly earmarks a portions of budget, and a huge amount at that. If we were so big daddies or bullies, I think we wouldn't have done this. It is the Chinese who do the other way around. They'll give you loan and then extract their pound of flesh. Who was that famous justice case of Solomon? And I mean, that is the Chinese way to behave.
Shylock.
Psylocke, sir. Psylocke. I was just forgetting that name. Chinese are the Shylocks, I think. We are definitely
Yeah.
not. We are not playing up our narrative. That is one deficiency which we have, and that is one of my recommendations, that we need to play the narrative war correctly. Deft diplomacy. Wait for the opportunity. I've already covered. Leverage the people connect, sir. Whether it is Sri Lanka, whether it is Maldives, whether it is Bangladesh, whether it is Nepal, whether it is Bhutan, sir. I think people connect has to, or for that matter, Myanmar, expand the arc of influence of India to Africa. Africa is a continent where the next competition is going to intensify in a big ways. Although India has, I remember the figures of 2022, we had about $75 billion invested in Africa, but I think we need to go beyond that as far as Africa is concerned,
That.
including Southeast Asia. And I would go a step further. We have been very slow in our ingress into the Pacific Island groups. We have a huge diaspora there, not now any more of a Indian origin. They are now originals of that particular place.
Yeah.
But we do have that influence in that region. We have to start looking at our neighbor, so-called northern neighbor, as a competition in every place where it is going. So if it is going in Solomon Islands, I think one visit will not do. We need to invest more in it. And these countries are very small. They don't require big fund, or they don't require big sounding tickets to keep them with us. Target the global south through forums like BRICS, we've already spoken about. Keep the Iran Afghanistan option on. I think this is an flank of decision. If I were to put it in the military terms, this is the flank of decision for the great game which is now being played around India. I would now say that the great game is now being played around India, whether it is Myanmar, whether it is Bangladesh, whether it is Pakistan or Iran. So our flank of decision would be more in this area of Iran Afghanistan conundrums. It is here that we need to quietly work towards a situation where we come out a winner, irrespective of which side the US is going to take and which side the Russians are going to take. Engage the US through its current challenges for high tech and defense preparedness. US is having challenges, sir. US is in need of markets. Also, if it is getting out of China, it has to come to some place. It may go to Vietnam, it may go to some Indonesia, etc. But sir, the long-term capacity lies in India. The youngest workforce lies in India. We need to prepare that workforce to ensure that people are automatically attracted to India. Yes, we have these shortcomings. We will have to take some actions to ensure that our people are empowered correctly to exploit these new opportunities. With that, sir, I have finished. What I wish to say is that look for that silver streak in the situation which is happening around us, and wait for that silver streak to become a lightning and then strike.
Yeah, I think let me highlight one issue to underline what you said. You just said, there is no way but for the world to come. You said USA, I would say the world to come to India, right? They might go to Vietnam, Bangladesh, and all these places, small places, but ultimately they have to come to India because definitely, without any doubt, China is aging. China has internal problems. China is almost a spent case. People are not going there. And while there are a lot of doubts about this happening or not happening, let me put it across. I was just reading the past 2, 3 days. Apple iPhone 16 is being
Yeah,
sold only from India.
absolutely.
And just about a month back or 2 months back, there were narratives from US, China that look, India doesn't have a ecology for manufacture. If people go to manufacture there, they'll have a problem, right? Nothing will happen. All that. They don't have a good workforce, this, that, all that. Despite all this, Apple has stuck to its plan and there's no reversal back. Today, Apple i16 doesn't get sold from China. It's all made in India. So that's
Absolutely.
only a start. That's the lead. Now, once again, I read somewhere, once the big player starts working, the rest will follow. And today's news, which I read, is uh, Microsoft has bought something close to 1,000 acres of land around Pune in 2 packets. What for? I mean, here one has to think he's already there, and the land has been registered for by Microsoft around that place Hinjewadi, which is the IT hub of Pune. So there's a growth which is taking the big majors once they start coming in. ये छोटे वाले तो आ ही जाएंगे अपने आप. I have no doubt
बिल्कुल,
about it,
बिल्कुल.
right? So if you look at the thing, if everyone now you look at USA, you look at China, you look at Russia, you look at the Middle East, you look at anyone around, they're all coming towards you. Yeah, you'll have blips like what's happened in Bangladesh and all that. We'll handle it. Oh, कुछ दिन तक तो वो रुटे रहेंगे because it's their own internal problem. Oh, and
Absolutely.
we all know Bengalis by nature are very emotional, right? And I have, so there will be some issues which we have to address. We'll address it. I mean, we'll
Nothing,
address it
nothing,
with patience.
nothing wrong in being emotional, sir. but
Emotional,
use the emotions intelligently. India is not
intelligent.
against Bangladesh. India is not against
Yeah,
Bangladesh. They have to just
yeah.
realize
In
that
fact,
India is there to support, not to
yeah,
oppose.
oppose. And India is your neighbor. Again, I keep this thing. India, it's in India's interest that Bangladesh progresses. Let me also put it
Absolutely
right. Right. India's progress depends on the progress of its neighbors. You
correct.
can't have, I mean, look at it. You can't have a skyscraper and five slums around us. That is not our idea. We
Right.
want everyone to go along, right? And that's how things will happen.
And
Right. I think we've covered yeah,
and
please go ahead.
it is also not to say that India has everything hunky dory. We also have
Yeah,
our
yeah, yeah.
we also
We
have our
have our
internal
problems.
we have our challenges of inclusive growth, but we are trying to address them. We are trying to
Right.
somehow make the income evenly distributed. So I think both have to go hand in glove. Some mistakes are always being done by every country, but it should
Okay.
not become a major mistake. That's the only.
Yeah.
It should not become the
And
major
nothing
issue.
is yeah, and nothing is permanent.
Uh,
Everything changes with time. Right?
Correct,
We
sir.
have to be patient about it, and that patience has to come in others. But
Yeah,
having said all this, I would like to put something else across.
yeah,
There is a everyone is watching. All the neighbors are not fools. If Afghanistan, if Maldives and Sri Lanka see value in India, surely the other neighbors are not fools.
absolutely, sir. Absolutely.
Yeah, and Nepal is also seeing it. They know it. They know it completely.
I
Okay.
mean,
Y-
it's a arena where people will try to push their influence. We are not
Yeah.
saying that
Yeah.
we're going to have a smooth time, but I think we need to
Yeah.
also play our cards well, sir.
Yeah. We'll do that. Right. So I'm sure we'll address all this. Should we take some questions?
Yeah,
We
yeah,
have, yeah. Let me take some questions. Yeah. There's a nice comment which has come. He says this is also there. Tata Electronic to set up two more
yeah.
semiconductor chips fabrication plant in Dholera city. It is not only that, JLR Tata is going to set up two plants in around wherever they are planning
Correct,
for
sir.
production of EVs. Complete Jaguar Land Rover will be hereafter produced in India. The electric vehicles thing. So there are a lot
In
of
fact,
things which are happening. Yeah,
sir, Tata is reaching out in a big way, even in
big
Europe,
way.
Eastern Europe,
Yeah,
especially Eastern.
so things will happen. So let's be very patient about all these things. Things don't happen overnight, right? Yeah. So this comment, sir, second attempt on Trump failed. If they want to down him, how hard it is for them. Why they just attempt an attempt? He worked with the deep state earlier. Yeah,
Okay. I think we need to also realize that one of the best security organizations which any country has belongs to the US. The fact is that they are being breached is the point of concern.
yeah,
Intelligence is not falling into their hands at the right time. So, somebody is able to stay in a golf course for 12 hours, so and then try an attempt. Actually, he was not able to fire this time because they were a little better off. They picked up this guy a little early, and then they finally arrested him. Of course, what I'm trying to say is that they do have a very good security mechanism. And I would also like to share, having been part of this kind of a force for quite some time, that India too also has a very good security mechanism now, after whatever we learned our lessons way back in '84 and subsequently, and I mean during Rajiv Gandhi's election, etc. I think after that our security thing has also become quite well seasoned, and it is one of the world's best as of today. And I'm
yeah.
only talking of the top
Uh,
management. I'm not talking of all the
yeah,
security.
I agree. I
Just the
agree. Right.
yeah,
Yeah. I'm completely with you. Yeah, there's an interesting question which Saikat has asked. He says, what would Chanakya have done if all our neighborhoods are turning against us?
Chanakya had devised a strategy called Sam Dam Dand Bhed. And in order of priority, Dand is the last. He had said that if I can achieve my aim by intrigue, by deception, by fooling, by even doing magic, if you read Arsasa, you'll find there's a chapter on how to do magic to fool the other guys. I would rather go for that than war. So Dand was his last option, and I think we are following that culture. Why do our audience, I always find our audience are very eager to go sort out things through punishment or dand or war. There are other ways to do dand.
Yeah, yeah,
We are talking of gray zone, we are talking of information war. Use those things, create dissension. That is Chanakya, that is what Kautilya would have done. Let me put it this way.
yeah,
And if fail,
yeah.
and if he fails, then of course that option is always there.
Okay. This is from Bangladesh. He says, why can't you accept a democratic reforms in Bangladesh?
I think
He feels
AI,
that all the reforms which are taking place are democratic at this point of time.
AI Avenue, whatever is your real name, I don't know. If you had listened to me carefully, what I had said was Yunus must do first electoral reforms and quickly hold elections. If he goes into the entire changing of the society, he will also get trapped into the routines, the trappings of power. Do you want an acting president to prime minister to get into this kind of a thing? I think it is better that a elected prime minister, whomsoever you want to elect, we are not saying you elect A, B, or C. जो आपको मन करता है उसको elect करिए. Let him govern. Interim governments are always placed to elect a government, not to start doing reforms all over again
Yeah,
of, of policy and everything.
yeah. Okay. JBJP. He says, when have we given a counter cartographic reply to China at a government level by officially publishing Mao maps of Tibet with Indian names, etc., state reply, all that? Yeah,
Uh, BJP, JBJP, you are a old listener and old friend of our channel, so I respect what you are saying. I do not have to actually uh, put it here on this platform that India has taken action. If I were to just say this much, I think you should understand, and it is being implemented now in all our discourses,
yeah.
and the message has gone across. I think that should satisfy
That's
you.
more than enough. That's, that itself has its own value. But having said that, we are late starters in this game.
Yeah,
We did
I
this
agree.
game very well. We did this game. We actually did this game very well around 47 to 50.
Correct.
Somehow in this game, if you do this game, you should be ready to back it up by force. That's the
Correct.
mistake we did. We didn't back it up
We
by force.
absolutely. You have to have the guarantor,
Guarantor. The guarantor of all this nonsense is force, and that is something which we have to understand, right?
and this
And
must
I
be
think we
understood
have
by everyone.
understood it.
This has to be understood by
Yeah,
all of you.
I agree. Okay, next, more of a comment. I'll just read through and we'll pass it. So this is an opportunity in Africa. We already have Airtel and Airtel money widely used in Africa. We can push our Aadhaar, UPI, 4G, 5G technologies in Africa. It will benefit. I think it's
Fully.
very right. This is a huge thing. It's not only Africa. People from Europe also come. People from USA also come.
And
right?
I would only like to add here, sir, that they have to work on the cost factor.
Yeah,
They they should somehow try to emulate the costing which India does within India in Africa.
mm,
Africa is not a very rich continent in terms of money. So I think if they get their costing right, we will overtake
yeah,
communication of Africa. Airtel is the number one communication provider in Africa in any case, in all the countries
yeah.
available.
Yeah. Okay. Uh, will we see Bharat starting considering demographics, religion, ideology, and population as key pillars of national security policy? Most of our Hindu babus, Fauji's, politicians care nothing about Hindus.
I think again, by
I think
Arianam,
he's off the mark.
Arianam Baje, just because this is a perception you've got, it does not imply that we do not care for our population. I think I would just like to, and you've said about Fauji's, I would just like to tell you our motto. It's people first, it's nation first, people under me second, and I come always the last. And we'll die with this feeling. So if you've said this thing, and if you're create, I mean, trying to convey this kind of a sentiment, I think you're wrong somewhere, because you're not aware of what happens inside.
Yeah,
Me and people like Shankar, Jan Shankar will fade away into history. We will never die. There's a saying, old soldiers never die. They just fade away into
they
history.
just fade away.
Till
Okay.
death, till
A-
death, we are wrapped in uniform, and we will remain wrapped in uniform.
And you must also understand that, what happens, what you see is not what we do. If you
Correct.
think we don't know what to do with our demography, we don't know what to do with our religion, we don't know what to do with our ideology and or our population, you're mistaken. Just if you realize, I'll take Buddhism. It's quite a neutral religion as far as we are concerned.
Yeah.
Right? The way we are now started playing up Buddhism, because Buddhism has a wider international imprint in our areas of interest. Slowly, if you see, Buddhism is coming into play. Similarly, a lot of religions which came from India are making their mark all over the world. So don't, and our population or expatriate population in USA will make its mark. Just think, one of the presidential candidates of USA is half Indian, whether you like it or not. Whether she is not, she's a US citizen. I go with it. But kahin na kahin to that tail plume effect will be there. So I mean, you have to understand all this in the larger thing. Okay. This is a compliment to you, Dushi. He says, I really like General Dushyant's handwriting in the letter of your fellowship in class. Just wanted to convey to him personally.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Jack.
Yeah. Yeah. What's our actual China strategy? Eco surveys say encourage investments. Piyush Goyal says it's an idea. Then Dr. Jaishankar says wants to do business with China. Yet LAC problems persist.
So I tend to go with Mr. Jayashankar, in the sense that business is already going on. You see, if you were to just compare the figures of trade, we are only increasing in trade. They are our number one trade partners. But you have to closely watch what are being traded now. Yes, people are finding ways and means. They are buying Chinese stuff through third party, etc., third country, and importing it there and then exporting it here. But there is also a conscious effort being made to diversify. If I were to just quote defense, see, we have not been outstanding as far as defense technology is concerned. Right from beginning, we have been a laggard, and we have been following. We have not been even trying to catch up. We leave half our projects halfway through. We start with the development of aircrafts in HF-24 in 1960. Had we continued with it, probably by now we would have been producing HF-40s or 50s, but we dropped it. Then again, we picked up LCA later on, much later on. So it has taken 20 years to develop, or more than 20 years to develop. And now we are going to LCA. So probably we learn our lessons a little more slowly than the others. But the fact of the matter is that uh, we are in a situation where we need time. We can't blame the past ki because of these factors we lost time. No, जो हो गया तो हो गया ना.
Hmm.
कैन वी डू एनीथिंग अबाउट लॉस्ट टाइम? इसीलिए लोग बोलते हैं कि वक्त किसी के लिए रुकता नहीं है, एंड वी हैव फॉल्टर्ड देयर. आई एम 100% श्योर अबाउट इट. If you want to look at indigenous journey, you want to look at successful stories, please ask General Shankar. I think he is one of the pioneers of indigenization of artillery systems. You need people to get dedicated to do their work. Of course, that's a different matter, that again people start coming out with faults with our. See, there will be faults, यार. बच्चा जब चलता है ना 10 बार गिरता है. आप लोग कैसे भूल जाते हो?
Yeah.
उसको 5 5 साल लग जाते हैं जब वो थोड़ा अच्छी तरह से दौड़ने वाला बन जाता है. सो आई थिंक वी नीड टू गिव टाइम. द पॉजिटिव लिस्ट व्हिच आई हैव टॉक, exports, our exports have increased. Yes, agreed. They are not of a high tech variety, but our exports have increased phenomenally. The growth has been very good. I'm talking about defense exports.
Yeah,
We
it'll
have reached,
increase only. It'll only
and
increase
see, we are now here at the low end. We have only one way to go, and that is up.
up.
Just believe in the system. That's what. And I'm not quoting any logic, but I'm telling you this is what is happening on ground.
Yeah.
Figures speak for themselves.
Yeah, there's a lot of interest in Bangladesh. So I read this. There's another question along with this. As far as Bangladesh is concerned, it has transformed into an East Pakistan given the wanton crimes being committed against Hindus in particular and minorities in general. Your views? But with this, on Bangladesh, people are using two words, East Pakistan, a lot these days without realizing that if true, there will be a it will be a 50-year setback to our external security and threat to East. Your views. So look
Okay,
at it both ways. I give,
yeah. But as far as your minority thing is concerned, yes, that's a danger which is there for everyone to see. There were two journalists yesterday only. They have been apprehended. In fact, the people of the border areas caught these two journalists, and I'm talking of Mohammad Haq and Shamal Datta. These both were chief editors of a local paper in Bangladesh, and they were trying to get inside India. They have been caught by the people, handed over to the police. Similar are there are number of stories which are occurring now. But to say, I have a different view on this. But to say that we must invite all of them to come and be here, come and get into India and feel safe is not a long-term solution. From 22%, Hindus have come down to 7%. You want them to get totally eliminated? I think the solution lies in supporting them inside through our influence, whether it is diplomatic influence, whether it is leveraging our economic impact on economic influence on Bangladesh. We need to support these people to ensure that they survive this aftermath of the recent collapse of law and order which took place in. And some good things which I am noticing here, I have been talking to a lot of people from even Awami League and others during various programs. And what I feel is that even they are scared. It's not only the Hindus. Most of the Awami League guys are in hiding. That's why I said right in the beginning, Bangladesh is a country which is either a Awami League country or a BNP country. And if there is a military rule, it is a military country. I mean, whom do you
yeah,
falter here? Mujibur Rahman gives you independence, and within a year, he's no more. Did you give a chance to your democracy to flourish? I think nobody has given that chance. It's the people of Bangladesh who have to realize this. Jamaats will come, Jamaate Islami will come, Jamaate, some other Islamic organizations will come. But the common people of Bangladesh have to understand that their security lies, safety and security and progress and growth lies in being, as you all call yourself, a non-communal state.
Yeah.
That is the
Okay.
definition of your state.
Yeah. Sahaj, thanks a lot for your contribution. This is a very interesting question. What is the future of Quad with decreasing escalation with China? Its remaining relevance going to be lost, and how America will engage India to counter China?
Look, Quad's relevance will continue to remain. Please do not compare it with AUKUS. AUKUS is more of a security partnership, whereas Quad is more of an economic partnership. And as part of this economic partnership, we are also economic partnership and related to Indo-Pacific movement of trade, etc. In addition to that, we are taking it a step beyond by conducting joint exercises with the navies of these four countries. We have done a number of exercises. Yes, in the last 1.5 years, because of Biden's uh, policy, maybe because of our elections, etc., we were not able to do those exercises in 2023. But I'm sure these will resume moment the elections in US are over, and again we are back to routine diplomacy between the two countries. As of now, people are
Yeah, not only
waiting for the outcomes.
I think yesterday, today, the news is coming out that the Quad is going to carry out joint patrolling in South China Sea in disputed areas,
That's what I said.
and
So
that
Indo Pacific, they'll be there.
yeah, they'll be there. And one must understand, even now, the strongest element of Quad is military. Military to
Absolutely.
military cooperation is the strongest element of Quad. The rest are all, growing. There's a very nice comment I got. I'll just read it out. There's a sizable number of sensible people who understand that the best interest of Bangladesh lies with economic and political integration to India. The decline of Pakistan is a living example. I'm glad this
Absolutely.
has come out. Okay, and
Mm.
I also would like to add one more thing. This is not going, Bangladesh and the people of Bangladesh will not realize it for the next 3 to 5 years. I'm saying it. This problem, it will happen. It will continue with them,
Absolutely.
right? And we're going to discuss a lot of Bangladesh in times to come. Your views,
I don't know. I fully agree with you. See, when you are in a heat of a
yeah,
situation, your rational thinking goes out of the window. So that is what is
yeah,
Bangladesh going through as of now, and that is why I said
yeah,
let the sand settle down. Now the
yeah,
water is full of floating sand around within it, so we are not able to see things clearly. Once the sand settles down, once the water becomes more clearer, saner voices will start coming out.
yeah,
They're already coming through back channels. Just for the information of our
yes.
friends on this platform, they're already coming out through black channels. What you can do
Okay,
only, you can only succeed if you're alive. So as of now, they're
yes.
fighting a battle of life.
Okay.
Right.
Isn't a robust Air Force and Navy a big challenge for Bharat as our lack of fighter jets and submarines in hundreds seems to me an immediate threat?
Okay, I think this I will answer in one line only. Look, the Air Force projected the requirement of X number of squadrons. This requirement was projected a few years back. Now we have a much lesser number of squadrons for reasons, whether it is budgetary constraint or whether it is availability, whether we are getting things in the right, and people are able to produce those many aircrafts for us to give and for us to pay back for the same. But you must also realize that the quality of these aircrafts is increasing, the ammunition quality is increasing, the missiles quality is improving. So what 10 missiles could do, or what 10 weapons could do earlier, can be done by 2. I'll give you an example. If you are opposite China, our lift capability is 4 times more than the Chinese, because the Chinese have
Yeah,
to take off,
Chinese.
they take off from a much higher altitude. So we are looking at smart solutions also within our budgetary constraints. And the idea here is, more you grow economically, larger will be the pie for defense. As such,
Yes.
today the largest budget goes to in the defense only, 13 to 15% of the total outlay.
Yeah. I think he's brought out all the points. I'll just add something on a tangent to what he has said, but it's important. Look at Iran. It doesn't have an air force, but it still wields power. So you just don't need conventional today in the years of, we are in a multi-domain scenario.
Absolutely.
And in multi-domain scenario, if you are relatively weak in one domain, you can make do with another domain. But we are
Absolutely.
not weak in that domain. Take it from me. What
Yeah.
General Dushyant said is 100% right. Right, and this, of course, what we spoke of. Anisur Gaming
Yeah. Yeah.
says what to
Yeah.
launch joint patrolling and in the thing, right? And yeah, this is a question. Arunachal has put, why can't Bangladeshis and Pakistanis be as sensible as Indians when they know that they are from the same stock?
I
Well,
think
that
we
is,
should not presuppose.
yeah,
We should not presuppose that they are not sensible. Understand that,
yeah,
what all has happened to them in the past 15 years, 20 years, 30 years. I think there are shades of people in every country. Currently, a particular shade of people are dominating the scene. So you're looking at things that they are, the saner voices will start coming out. As I said, just wait,
yeah.
just wait.
It's a matter of time.
Yeah.
Okay. Last question. Economic disparity, low GDP per capita, and somehow some low life expectancy is a problem for us. We need to deal with it, your views.
100%. That's why I said, unless you have an inclusive growth along with the high GDP which we are trying to strive for, we will be also on similar stress. And which I think the government, what are these programs for? Housing, programs for food, program for insurance, health insurance. These are all part of the inclusive growth. Yes, success may not be that exponential, but at least there is an attempt being made to do these things. I think we should encourage these initiatives, whether they're coming from a state government or whether they're coming from a central government, immaterial. Till the time
Yeah.
people are benefiting, we should be happy about it.
Okay. Ultimately, the last question, because this he's repeating it second time I'm taking it. Will Turkey's ban on defense sales to India affect us? What technology does Turkey have that India doesn't?
I mean, this is really not a very important question. Whatever Turkey can give us, we can get it from others also, and we can also produce in house. There is a lot of effort being made. Do you know we have the largest startups today in the world, and in the defense also we are having a lot of startups which are working on these kind of systems. Sooner or later, we will get success.
Yeah,
We
it's a
also
matter of
have,
time.
yeah, we also have good, intelligent, smart people, and youngsters are really doing a great job. We come to meet them almost on a daily basis during various events, etc. I'm having faith that our boys, our Gen Z, is more ambitious than what we were. We can call ourselves as Gen Y or Gen C or whatever you want to call us. We are old, but Gen Z is
Yeah,
quite encouraging.
yeah. I think we've covered a lot of ground. For everyone who's watching, if you like this video, please press the like button and please do consider subscribing to Ghana Shot so that we grow. Right? Tomorrow I'll be back. Tomorrow I'll talk of China because there's a lot happening in China, right? Which if you put the whole thing, a picture comes, and China is one country which we have to keep our pulse on. feel its pulse constantly. So that's what we'll do tomorrow evening. Till then, good evening, and thanks a lot to General Dushyant Singh also for the
Good evening.
wonderful dialogue which she's generated. Right.
Good
With
evening,
this,
sir.
thank you. Good evening and Jai Hind to all of you.
Thank you, sir. Jahan. Jahan to everyone.